Hello guys, Captain's Log, September 14th, 2021. Now I know it's been a bit since I did one of these videos. I actually had a lot of stuff go on in my life recently. It's pretty crazy and it involves being hacked. It's a really crazy story and I don't really have time to explain it here. Just know I've been wanting to upload. I just had to deal with a lot of personal problems and a lot of computer problems. There was a lot of things holding me back from doing videos recently, but hopefully I've got all that dealt with and I can actually get back to doing videos now. Today's video is going to be a discussion that I've wanted to have for a long time now, and it's definitely one of the discussions I wanted to first have when I started this series, that being about Evails. Now, if I told you guys that there was a lost Sonichu character, most of you would probably be like, I don't care, fuck Sonichu and fuck Christian, I don't care. Well, that's a fair reaction. But for the rest of you guys who are actually curious about Sonichu characters, there is a long-lost, forgotten Sonichu character named Evails. Now, for those of you guys who don't know about Sonichu lore, mostly every single Sonichu character started out as a character in Christian's Wall of Originals. The Wall of Originals was a bunch of fan-made Pokemon that Christian made, just for fun, and he never planned on playing with them in public. They would hang up on his wall, and most of these Pokemon ended up being recycled into Sonichu characters. When I covered the Wall of Originals a few years ago, you could see really early art for Sonichu, Rosechu, Black Sonichu, and so many more. Well, one of the characters we kept seeing on the wall was Evails. Evails is a weird combination between Eevee and Tails, and I was wondering why. Why did he create a Tails equivalent in Sonichu? There is no need for a Tails equivalent in Sonichu, because in Sonichu, Sonichu is followed by Rosechu. Rosechu would be kinda like his Tails equivalent because she definitely doesn't act like Amy Rose. Because Sonic doesn't really hang out with Amy Rose in the games, she kinda just stalks him. So why did Christian think that he would need a Tails equivalent, and why did he decide to get rid of him? Well, it's actually a really interesting story, and it involves analyzing Christian and figuring out how he views the world. So when Christian was in school, he was told by a lot of people that Sonic and Tails were gay, and it's through his hatred of gay people and his fear of gay people that he started to dislike Tails as a character. And I know it seems silly, but when you're someone like Christian who are obsessed with being straight, if you hear that a character's trying to take your character off of the straight path, you're going to be upset about that character. So I guess Christian made Evails before he found out about the Tails is gay thing, or heard about the Tails is gay thing. I guess he watched too much Gamer Guy. And he decided to get rid of Evails. But what's funny is this actually shows more of Christian's broken psyche. In the games and in any other continuity, Sonic and Tails are practically brothers. They are really close friends, and this is something that Christian can't understand. Christian's never had a friend that was that close to him. Most of his friends used him, and most of his friends weren't actually even his friends. So to see a friendship, especially between two guys, which Christian didn't have a lot of guy friends at all, I don't think Christian could understand that that isn't gay. And another thing that could be important is the fact that even though Sonic and Tails most of the time identify as brothers, I can see why Christian couldn't understand that either, especially with what's happened recently. I guess Christian never fully understood that you don't fuck your family, and if you call someone brother and you consider them a brother, chances are you don't want to fuck them. So this really just shows an interesting view into Christian's mind. I don't know what Evails would have been used for. I don't know what Evails could have been used for. He didn't seem like he would have any interesting powers. He didn't seem like he had anything really interesting about him at all. But I guess if I'm going to play hypothetical for a second, if I were to implement Evails into the story, I would have it to be where he can switch between his evolutions. He could be Evails in one form, Then he could transform into a fire form temporarily with a Firestone, which would be his Flareon. Then he could turn into a Jolteon. Just use Power Stones or Evolution Stones to achieve temporary transformations, kind of like how Sonic uses the Chaos Emeralds to turn to Supersonic. He would basically be a character who could turn super, but only needs one stone. I think that would be a really interesting take for this character, and if anyone were to use Evails, I think that would be an interesting path to take him down. If I had to guess what his personality was going to be like, I would say that he would just be Tails, but an Eevee. That seems to be a common thing with Sonichu characters, that they're based off of a character, they look pretty similar, and they act pretty similar. And I've read all the early versions of Sonichu comics, I've read all the proto-Sonichu issues, and Evails never appeared in any of them. So Chris Chan decided to scrap Evails way before he decided to start making comics. And for those of you guys who don't know, Chris Chan actually made the Wall of Originals before he made the comics. And Chris Chan played around with toys of the characters before he actually did anything writing-wise with them. So, Evails is a forgotten character, and he's mostly forgotten because Chris Chan couldn't realize that Tails the Fox wasn't gay with Sonic. It's weird that Chris Chan couldn't understand the relationship Sonic and Tails had. It's weird that Chris Chan just let random people tell him something and then he took it as fact. But this is all stuff that Chris Chan would do later on in life anyway. So it's not really a shock. And I'm not really shocked that Evails met the cutting block. It's really sad because Evails looked like he could have been an interesting character. It's really sad because I could see a lot of people doing interesting stuff with him. So if anybody out there is running a Sonichu fan comic, for the two of you guys who don't hate Chris Chan now, I would say check this out. Use him in your comic and let's see if we can do something interesting with this forgotten Sonichu character. Now, I'm well aware that Chris Chan's court date is coming up soon. When it happens, I will cover it, and whenever there's updates, I will cover those too. But right now, we're in a bit of a dry patch in Chris Chan news, and unlike some people, I don't really feel like covering nothing. So I'll do a Chris Chan update when there's actually something to update you guys on. I'm not just going to give you scraps. I'm going to wait till there's more to pick at. So when Chris Chan actually goes to court, that's when I'll cover it. So for those of you guys who are asking when I'm going to cover Chris Chan going to court, I'll cover it when he's in court. So hopefully you guys like this video. If you like this video, hit the like button. If you really like it, then share it. And if you want to see more, then subscribe. There will be more Captain's Log videos coming at you soon, so stick around. Thank you guys for watching, and bye.